Anything that radiates from a central point has an intrinsic mathematical quality to it. The Wheel of Time describes the four-dimensional radiative process. The mandala principle of the Avatar's Wheel of Time points to the fact that order is intrinsic to any structure that comes into existence. The cosmos is this intrinsic structure. Creation cannot occur without this process emanating from the center. Observe the Hunab-Ku at the center. The two sides represent binary alternation or the law of alternation. When you take it apart, you have two opposite spiraling forms that create a type of tension that creates this structure. It is really two sides of one line very carefully drawn with four rays, four sets of antennae, and then the yin-yang spiral form. Buckminster Fuller said that unity is plural and at minimum two. Charles Henry said there is unity. Then within unity there is construct, that is polarity. Then comes rhythm, represented by the number 3. 3 is the minimum number to show transformational structure because you have beginning, middle, and end. Then comes measure, which is the principle of the number 4. The 4 rays and 4 sets of antennae make the number 8, which represents harmony. The principle of 8 can also be seen as 2 4s or 4 2s. These are minimum factors of alternating binary space, creating 4 cardinals and 4 intermediates, the minimum structure of radiative growth and transformation. The Hunab-Ku is a pure radiating binary principle, resulting in 8. The potentiality of 8 gives rise to the 8 trigrams or triplets with the maximum possibility of using yin and yang in a 3-line structure. Here you have the principle of the triplet, the rhythm. 3 lines of a 3-line structure give you a maximum of 24 lines. This is the basis of the binary triplet. The heart triplet and vision triplet are the perfect examples of the binary triplet because the top and the bottom are the same and the middle the transformational opposite. The Hunab-Ku and 8 triplets create the universal space. The Hunab-Ku has night side and day side, the whole space. The eightfold triplet describes the potentiality and contents of space. The eightfold universe with the binary law of day-night alternation contains the minimum potentiality, 8 triplets, for change and transformation. This is the very essence of the time-space cosmology of the law of time. The structures of the Avatar's Wheel of Time represents the matrix for the minimum set of permutations. All 8 sets of triplets combined with each other and doubled into 6 line creates 64, 8 times 8. 64 possibilities or 64 DNA codons. The center, Hunab-Ku, represents universal space and the second ring represents time that moves space, 8 triplets. The difference between the 8 and the 13 in the third ring is the power of 5, the 5th force. The generation of the 5th force turns space into time-space. The 13 and the 8 have the minimum permutation of 104, fractal of 104,000 years of the Arcturus cycle. The 13 represents the minimum power of time, as the circulation of space, and makes space dynamic, rather than static, like the number 12. 3 4s or 4 3s create a stasis. As an irreducible prime, 13 is a dynamic number. The 13 moves the 8, the 5th force both moves the center and overtones the center. This wheel is the most primal cosmology of the time-space. Around the 13 is the 20. This is the basis of the frequency of synchronization, 1320. 4 times 5 equals 20. 4 is the number of perfect measure, and 5 is the power of the overtone. Again, the minimum circulation of time is 13. Note, while space is a function of binary operation, 2, 4, 8, 12, time is a function of odd numbers, 5, 7, 9, 13. The 20 equals 0 being the factor that allows both the acceleration and increasing degrees of synchronization. The overtone chromatic has to attain perfect measure, and the minimum form of measure is 4, hence chromatic 5 times 4 equals 20. Everything is an intrinsic order of mathematical structure. In this cosmology, the 20 represents the sliding scale harmonics, or a perfect set of chromatics. The harmonics represent static form, red, white, blue, yellow. The chromatics are dynamic, so to be stabilized, they have to be 4 of them. 4 times 5 equals 20. There are 3 principal types of chromatics: polar, overtone, and wisdom. The 13 moons are coded to the 1320 frequency. The 1320 frequency is coded to the Avatar's Wheel of Time. The solar ring is a biotelepathic frequency that we can tune into through the 13 moon calendar. The Wheel of Time is then turned, unlocking vast codes. Most prominent among these codes are the Wheel of Becoming and the Wheel of Return, contained within the Book of Harmony. The minimum factor of 8, 13, 20 is 520, equals 2 Soul Kings, 1 Becoming, 1 Return. So the wisdom cycle is constructed of 2 Soul Kings, harmonic module, joined in reverse polarity, just as in a Cybank plate, where magnetic dragon is the upper left corner above and lower right corner below. The wisdom of cycle introduces the wisdom chromatics, 5 units, the harmonic octaves, sets of 2 harmonics, 8 units, and chromatic octaves, 5 harmonic octaves, then complete 2 harmonic runs, 40 units. For each 520 unit wisdom cycle, there are 130 harmonics, 104 wisdom chromatics, 65 harmonic octaves, and 13 chromatic octaves. This is an essential structure and process of cosmic history. There are 6 chromatic octaves of becoming and 6 of return, plus 1 mystic 7th, which is self-neutralizing. Each harmonic run is 1 turning of the wheel. Each chromatic octave is coded by the first and last tone of 2 harmonic runs in succession. 13 chromatic octaves equals 26 harmonic runs. When the numbers of the first and last tones of the harmonic runs are added together, they equal 182. For each 260-day cycle, half of 364, 28 times 13. For each turning, the difference in the tones is either 6 or 7. So there are 7 sixes and 6 sevens. 13 chromatic octaves equals 26 harmonic runs. When the numbers of the first and last tones of the harmonic runs are added together, they equal 182 for each 260-day cycle, half of 364, 28 times 13. For each turning, the difference in the tones is either 6 or 7. So there are 6 sevens and 7 sixes. Each of those equals 42. 42 plus 42 equals 84, plus 84 equals 168, plus 364 equals 532. 19 times 28. The 28-day cycle is perfect, so it can only be a representation of God's law.